Hello everybody and welcome to week 7 of the PBL in season 2. I am Evan, coach of the Saffron City Sneasels, and today I've got a battle against Raul of the Ampharos. Raul is 5-1 going into this match. I am 6-0, so this is a bit of a juggernaut matchup here. I'm going to offer a little bit of a prelude before we get into the battle because I think some context is required. This is not the first go-around. We had a previous, I guess you could say, false start before the battle you're going to be seeing here. We played about 15 turns before he ended up disconnecting. Unfortunately, neither of us had taken down a Mon, so we restarted 6v6. However, this was a little disappointing for me because I had a substantial lead in terms of I took down 3 of his Mons were below half, and I had 2 hazards set up, and none of my Mons were injured. But so I was a little disappointed after the disconnect. The Raul bot malfunctioned, but then we restarted, and you guys will see that this time it seems RNG decided to repay me for the false start. So let's get into the battle here. So going up against Raul, I had one big concern, and that was definitely going to be his Excadrill Big Boss. Excadrill offers a ton of issues for my team because he has Mold Breaker, and he uses Earthquake, and I have 3 Pokemon on my roster with Levitate, 2 of which are weak to Earthquake. So, major hole in my team that he can kind of exploit. However, I noticed that he does not have a reliable answer to Ferrothorn outside of Typhlosion, who he had not brought to this point. He ends up bringing Typhlosion, which kind of tells me he's not going to be running Hidden Power Fire on anybody, so I feel a lot more confident throwing my Ferrothorn out into the mix. I open with him, I get my hazards up, and he goes out to Mega Latias. You guys are going to see this turn and think it maybe is a little weird. I switch a Heracross into Mega Latias when he could totally be hitting me with like a Psychic or something, and he goes for Grass Knot, which I resist. Now this is not some sort of like 3D chess match where I'm like making a genius outplay here. This only makes sense if you understand the context of our previous 15 turns, where he would bring out that Pokemon and I would repeatedly switch in my Melodic and then use Dragon Tail to phase out his Calm Mind boosts. So I expected him to be going for another Calm Mind boost because he did it like 3 times in our first matchup. He ends up going for the Grass Knot, expecting me to switch into Melodic, and I went to the Choice Scarf Heracross because I knew he would be going for, or I thought he'd be going for a Calm Mind. So that's why that happened. That turn wouldn't have made sense otherwise. So out comes the Nature's Madness from Tapu Fini. That's the only thing that this thing can use to hurt my Ferrothorn, and I'm kind of okay with that because with my Leech Seed recovery, I'll eventually be able to make back whatever I lost from the Nature's Madness because it kind of has diminishing returns the more often you use it. He brings back out Big Boss. I think he was just kind of afraid to switch in the Typhlosion without first spitting away the Stealth Rocks. In our false start, Typhlosion actually got down to like a quarter because he kept switching into the rocks, and I think this was him kind of making an adjustment based on that previous 15 turns that were disconnected. So out comes the Big Boss, and he does Rapid Spin because he's definitely prioritizing the hazards because he's seen my strategy for this matchup. And I'm kind of okay with that because I can just keep setting him up. He does free himself from the Leech Seed, and that's whatever. I know he's going to Rapid Spin, so I set up the rocks again. And now he has to decide, does he want to Rapid Spin again, take a little bit of Iron Barbs damage, and then clear the Stealth Rocks while I just get another free turn to set up whatever I want. And he goes for the Earthquake instead, trying to see how much damage he can get off here. And it does about a quarter, which I'm totally fine with, but I do miss the Leech Seed, which is unfortunate. So this is the one miss I had all game. So at this point in the match, I'm like, okay, this is going to be a harder matchup than the first 15 turns that were taken away. He goes for the Earthquake, and yeah, again, does a little bit of damage. I get my Leech Seed off this time though, which is nice. And I'm certain I can take another Earthquake, so I'm feeling pretty good. I think at this point I'm anticipating either a switch or just another earthquake, so I think I set up some more hazards. Okay, so he does switch out, and he brings out the jet stream again, which in my mind means he's going to be trying to set up these calm mind boosts, because he did that like 4 times before. Alright, okay, so yeah, I expected the switch. I do set up the leech seed again because I really do need the HP, because I need to keep 3P alive for the rest of the match, because he's going to be able to wall a lot of stuff, including this guy, but I can't let boosts happen in my face. So I do switch out again, and I bring out the Linguini, who is returning to the team. I had Linguini last year, and it did very well for me. And I just added it a couple weeks ago, this is her first appearance. He goes for the Draco Meteor, which I had not seen to this point. And I tank it easily, max special defense, calm nature. And the leech seed bonus is even better, so I know he's gonna have to switch because he's -2 special attack. I'm a special defense wall. It's a good position for me here. So he brings out Onion, the Celebi, and I do believe I make the read here. I do, and I go for the Ice Beam because I know I had a feeling he would go to Onion, and if he stayed in, I would still hit him hard. I get the Freeze, which at this point I'm still thinking, okay, we're about even in RNG. I missed a Leech Seed, which was 90% accurate. I get a Freeze on an Ice Beam, which is 10% chance to happen. Sure, a Freeze is more important than missing a Leech Seed, but I figure just percentages wise, we're even at this point in RNG. But that won't last very long. He brings back out the Tapu Fini, and I don't think this Tapu Fini can do anything aside from Nature's Madness me, but I can't do anything to her, so I have to switch back out to 3P, which is fine by me. I'm expecting the Nature's Madness, and it's going to take me to probably about 1/3 of my HP. I am starting to win the Hazards war here. All of these switches are slowly starting to benefit me. And I dodged the Nature's Madness. Very happy with that. It basically saves me a turn of trying to like Leech Seed stall or something. So I'm going to be slowly recovering that HP. I'm going to make it back up to about 3/4. Maybe actually a little bit more than 3/4. And once again, I figure he can try Nature's Madness me again if he wants, but I'll just be sitting pretty. So I switch out and I make the aggressive play at this point, because neither of us have made too many aggressive plays. So I bring out the Coco, his first appearance in the match, and I dodge the Nature's Madness. So that's very good for me. Although I don't really need to dodge it because Coco isn't here to take hits. So a half health Coco, a full health Coco, either way his goal is to sort of just be a little glass cannon this match. So the Onion does come out, and I go for the Hidden Power Ground, which was an answer for Excadrill because, like I said, Excadrill caused a lot of headaches for my team. And it does nothing to Onion, which is whatever. He withdraws Onion, and he brings out Big Boss, which I expected, so I do U-turn here because I am not trying to lose any turn advantage, and I'm definitely not trying to take an Earthquake to the face. So out comes Beetle Boy, who is Scarfed. He got that close combat for that ass, but I'm pretty sure he's going to switch here. So I think I go for an Earthquake instead, trying to hit the most things I can neutrally, and I didn't think he would bring out the Latias, because in our first 15 turns he did see I had Mega Horn. So I go for the Earthquake, and it does less than I would have hoped, which kind of told me that this was a physically defensive Tapu Fini. That information doesn't end up becoming super relevant, but it's always nice to sort of take those notes as you go through the match and just try to gather more information. So I bring back out the Coco. Once again, if he goes for the Nature's Madness, I don't mind too much, and I think he does. He goes for the Nature's Madness, and this one is going to bring me to half. And that's okay, like I said before, not a big deal. I have my terrain up, his terrain's gone. I'm a shocky little boy with some electricity coming out, and he goes out to Dipper, and this thing I actually wasn't too worried about. I've got some answers to this guy, but I didn't need to use any of the big answers because I just have this electric terrain boosted Thunderbolt. And I figure he's not going to switch in the Dipper only to switch him back out to an Excadrill. He already made the decision to put the Dipper out here, so I'm just going to click that Z move because Thunderbolt might have KO'd, but it seemed way too close to risk it. Because there were some Stealth Rock damage in there. There was some Stealth Rock damage. And he was about to just about half, so I just wanted to be extra safe here. Go for the Gigabolt Havoc. Takes out the Dipper, who's having a great season, but not a great match for him. Out comes Excadrill again, and once again, I know he's not scarfed, so I can just U-turn, get that little extra chip damage. I don't need to make a traditional switch out. And now I've whittled down this Excadrill very low, without even really hitting him with anything. I hit him with like 2 U-turns and then some Leech Seeds. So out comes the Earthquake from Excadrill. And this is one bit of RNG that does favor Raul. Once again, I will say that it overall was on my side, but he does get the crit there, which is a little upsetting because otherwise I could tank this guy very comfortably. But now I'm kind of in the danger zone. So I'm in that blinking red with a 25 HP. I go for the Leech Seed, and I'm just hoping that I'll be able to get as much value out of Ferrothorn as I can before he falls. And also, if I could just Leech Seed the Excadrill to death, that would be fantastic. So I'm back out of the red now, and I think as long as he doesn't crit me, I can take one more Earthquake. And I do, but it is very, very close. I survived with 2 HP. That was very clutch, and I get the spikes up, which are very nice. Getting 2 layers of hazards up, and and he's not going to feel comfortable rapid spinning against Ferrothorn when he's that low. So overall, very good stuff for me. And I figure, okay, Repeat actually survived. I might as well just save him. And he ended up switching out as well, which was interesting because he could have finished off the Ferrothorn. Maybe he expected me to switch, I'm not really sure. So he takes that harsh hazard damage as I make a switch out as well to Beetle Boy. Because I can take Earthquakes pretty well, and I didn't think he would go for the Iron Head and risk any Iron Barbs damage, or a Rock Slide and risk not KOing, I guess. So he sees the Celebi as the bad matchup, so he immediately switches back out, which is awesome for me because just keep racking up the hazard damage, and he goes out to the Mega Latios. And the knockoff does a ton of damage even without taking away the item. Just do it again, get the KO, get the Moxie boost. I'm sitting pretty right now. He does bring out the Bakugo, great nickname for a Typhlosion, with that spiky fire coming out of his back. But I think a knockoff might have KO'd, but I didn't want to risk it, especially when I'm kind of in the lead. I don't need to make those risky plays, so I switch out the Linguini, who I know can check him easily. And he goes for the Eruption, which is slightly weakened thanks to all of the hazards, and it does a laughable amount of damage. It does like, I don't know, 15 damage. I'm pretty sure I heal all of it back up with the leftovers, and he has to switch out Bakugo, which means if when he brings it back in, he's going to lose another... Roxy, come on. I'm doing commentary. We're back out to Tapu Fini. And once again, I can't do anything to this thing, but I went for the Dragon Tail, trying to get some phasing. He made the right switch in, though. So no phasing for me. That's okay. So I'm going to switch out here. And I believe I go back out to the Coco. Yeah, I go back out to the top of Coco. Because once again, Nature's Madness doesn't really matter. And then what else you got for me? So I get my terrain up. And he misses it, which is, that's, I think, that's the 3rd Nature's Madness he's missed. So like I said, the RNG, my favorite. But not a huge deal, but you will see that it does matter later on in the match. I get the KO with the Thunderbolt, and out comes the Bakugo again, the Typhlosion, taking the heavy damage from the Stealth Rocks and the Spikes. And then here's the one play that really confused me. He might have just been out of options, but he goes for the Focus Blast, which Didn't make any sense to me. Honestly though, if the Nature's Madness went off, that might have KO'd. Or probably would have KO'd. But yeah, he goes for the Focus Blast, and I can't figure out why, because my entire team, short of Ferrothorn, is actually resistant to fighting moves. Oh, except for the Melodic. But even then, like, it's not going to do much to the Melodic. So I guess he was expecting the Melodic. It ended up being that he was Scarfed. I didn't expect that. I do pick up the easy KO on the Celebi. And then now it's just picking off the remaining guys. Out comes Excadrill, and he's just going to fall to the hazards. And I believe that's going to close out the match. So I was extremely pleased with how the match went. Good game, Raul. I hope to battle you again in the future. Thank you guys for watching.